name is Grim Reaper, and with me, as always, is.
Cynical Squid.
And welcome to last week of Epoch. Boy, do we have a show to cover for you guys tonight.
Holy
We have
crap,
a
do we?
ton, a ton. Can't emphasize that enough. A ton. You ready to hit him with it, Squid?
Absolutely, man.
All right, guys. So the first thing we're going to cover tonight is going to actually be a thank you note for myself to all the people that showed up last weekend for my charity stream. I want to thank you guys for coming out and supporting the Wounded Warriors Project. I really appreciate that. All you guys that donated, everybody that came and gave gifted subs, all that money's going to Wounded Warrior Project too as well. And I cannot thank you guys enough for doing that. Also, as a reminder, this month's charity for 11th Hour Games is make sure I say it right. It's the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And if you can, go over by their stream. Their dev stream is on Fridays. Go over by their dev stream on Friday. Drop a sub. That helps out with them raising money for their charity. So thank you very much to EHG for doing charity work too. I really appreciate you guys doing that. I am very big into charities. And with that being said, let's get right into our first thing of the night to cover, which is going to be Road to 1.0, the July 2021 development update. This was written by MoxJet200. If you don't know who that is Judd, who is the game director for 11th Hour Games and the CEO. And he starts off by saying, "Hello, travelers. I hope you have been enjoying your adventures through time in Eterra and the recent additions to the endgame as we progress through early access phase of Last Epoch, which will lead to the 1.0 kickoff patch. We are preparing the company to support the live service model and bring you awesome content for years to come. I'd like to give you some insight into what's going on behind the scenes and answer some common questions we've been seeing as we progress up to 1.0.
So, 11th Hour Games growth. The Last Epoch team at 11th Hour Games is growing and evolving quickly, significantly more quickly than we thought possible. Not even 4 years ago, there was only a small number of us developing Last Epoch as an after hours passion project with zero funds and zero full time team members. Now we have a dedicated team of over 50 ARPG enthusiasts that covers the full spectrum of a great development team. Team is spread remotely across the world, rallying to make this underdog studio a name for itself through the development of Last Epoch. Going from an after hours project to a team of this size has been a major exercise in changing the tires while barreling down the highway, but it has been an enjoyable challenge. Our amazing community has enabled this growth by supporting Last Epoch during early access, through purchasing supporter packs, spreading the word, and consistently interacting with us and providing feedback. We cannot thank you enough.
And early day versus now, if you're a diehard ARPG fan, which all of us are if you're here, obviously, and would like to join the team at 11th Hour Games, they recently launched their careers page on the Last Epoch website. They're looking for a few more talented individuals to help us in our march up to the large upcoming multiplayer and 1.0 releases."
Speaking of upcoming multiplayer and stuff, gearing up to be a live service game. So, creating Last Epoch is a game that's continuously updated with large swaths of content for many years to come. They'll be adding things like cycles, which is seasons, leagues, however you want to word them. We're getting an economy, we're getting leaderboard resets, races, all sorts of scheduled events, in addition to large content additions. To execute this, they have to put a large focus on continuous integration and continuous development, which is going to be key to ensuring that releases are stable and they can better prevent risks that come with scaling concurrent users. You guys have probably noticed if you've been playing the game, we've got a lot more hot fixes in the 0.8.2 patch cycle. That's basically been a test to see if they could do that, to see if they can safely integrate and deploy updates without the process breaking down. The good news is it has gone well, according to them. So this allows them to deploy server and client builds much faster, which will significantly decrease iteration and testing times.
Nice. The one thing I'd like to say about that, man, I hope those season cycles aren't short. Like right now,
For sure.
Path of Exile, it's like 3 months and they drop a new one. And one of the things that I've noticed with Path of Exile and them having the 3 month cycles is it seems like they're really hardcore players that are really good at the game are done with everything like 2 months in and quit the game, and then the players that are newer to the game or mediocre don't finish all the challenges. They get frustrated with the game and they quit. I'm hoping that instead of it being a quarterly cycle, I'm hoping that they do it as a third of the year type cycle thing where it's 4 months because they're going to keep continuously adding more and more content to the game. So I'm hoping they do it in a 4 month cycle instead of a quarterly cycle, just because I think that having that one extra month will help the newer player base whenever they come in, pick up the game, be able to learn a little bit. They might not get all their achievements and everything that they hope to get, but maybe it'll make it to where, some of those players that are a little bit more behind, it'll give them that extra month to be able to maybe get an achievement or two more that they wanted for whatever they decide to have as a seasonal reward for that. I think that would be a little bit more beneficiary for Last Epoch to do it that way than to have 3 month cycles. What do you think, Squid?
I definitely don't like PoE's development cycle for their seasons because they basically just kind of drop it and they're like, "Cool guys, here's all the new stuff. Have at it." You know what I mean? And like they just kind of leave it. And like you said, people power through it super fast. And then like, I mean, me personally, I'm done with the PoE league at this point. Within, if I even play the league, I'm done with it within 2 to 3 weeks. I'm just like, cool. I kind of did everything I wanted to do. I guess I'm out.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to like super max the end game stuff. I'm just trying to like get into maps, maybe do one rotation through maps, and then after that, I'm like, cool, I'm out of here. So like, I would love to see Last Epoch for their seasons, cycles, whatever you want to call them. I would love to see them kind of like have the cycle evolve as it sticks around. Like maybe you have like a month where like these modifiers exist or however you're going to alter it, and then like the next month of the cycle, like something in that changes and it kind of like can shift how like the gameplay works in a way, not to where you'd have to like completely redo your build or anything, but
Hmm.
just in a way that would like break up the gameplay loop, because like PoE pretty much you just repeat the gameplay loop until you get bored of it.
Yeah, that's one of the main things that caused me to quit PoE is it almost felt like World of Warcraft and how new content would come out, but it would only be a matter of time before you got to a point where you were just crushing it, stomping it. You would get bored. You'd end up making alternate characters just to go and blow through the new raid content, anyways, because you already got it all on farm. So I'm hoping that the content doesn't get to that point. But at the same token, I hope that they don't have the time link so short that some of the players that are newer to the game, that are picking up the game, don't have the time to develop and progress as far through that season as they would like to. So I'm hoping that that's not where they go with it. We never know. They might want to stick to a 3 month cycle and have a quarterly cycle because it might be easier for them as a team to do that, or it might be one of those things where um, the first season that comes out there may not be as much content. So we might be done with the first season in like 2 to 3 weeks. But then the second season they come out with might take you the full entire 3 months just to complete it, and then the season after that might get even longer. So it's going to be interesting to see how the game develops from there. All right, moving on,
Yeah.
guys.
And like the other
Oh,
thing I want to say about that too is like they've been really good about accepting player feedback as well.
oh yeah, they
So
have.
like I think like once seasons come out, cycles, leagues, whatever we're gonna call the mechanic, once those come out, like I have faith that like 11th hour is gonna listen to the feedback and like alter stuff as it's gonna benefit the community overall.
Yeah, I firmly believe that too. But we got a lot of content to cover, so going to move on now to multiplayer win. We know you all want more information about multiplayer system specifics and a release date to put on the calendar. While I can't give you the specific date, I can give you all the information I do have. Going forward, we will be more transparent and communicative on the specifics and keep you up to date on all the great progress that is being made. Currently, as of this post on 07/20/21, we have team members playing multiplayer daily and a full multiplayer team test every Friday, which is awesome. Gameplay is feeling very smooth and mostly lag free with up to 4 players in a party, which that is a great sign. If they're not coming out with this till the end of the year and they've still got several months to work on it, they've got it mostly lag free. That is awesome. Core party
Fantastic.
systems have been developed. Most systems are networked appropriately and are server authoritative. Servers are spinning up, allocating, deallocating, and spinning down appropriately. Getting to this point has the team very excited and hungry to rapidly improve it and get it into your hands. While we're happy with the progress, there are still plenty of bugs to squash, more multiplayer specific features to implement, balance changes, and then scale testing to perform. We have no visible roadblocks and are making steady progress. We are also now working, this is awesome, Squid. We are also now working with some senior talent that have worked on systems like Battle.net for Blizzard Entertainment and games like League of Legends. That is awesome.
So that's fantastic. Like bringing in senior talent that have like worked at large scale multiplayer development, it gives me even more faith that this is going to get implemented correctly. And my favorite part of all of it is the very next part of the multiplayer win section.
Yes. I cannot overstate how important it is to EHG that multiplayer is executed correctly, which everybody in the community that I have talked to today since these patch notes dropped or the dev blog dropped has said the same thing, that a bad initial multiplayer experience can harm the game for all players and jeopardize the success and reputation of the studio long term, much more than holding it until it's ready. We want multiplayer to be enjoyable when we first release it without confusion or game breaking bugs, even in early access. Several games with many more resources have failed to stick the landing on multiplayer, so we're making sure to learn everything we can from those mistakes and not to repeat them. While we may make some mistakes, we will be able to react and iterate on them quickly. Now, one of the things that I've always been told by my father is a fool learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from somebody else's mistakes. They haven't made the mistake with multiplayer yet, so they've learned from everybody else's mistakes with multiplayer and are not trying to repeat it. So I think that is awesome. What are your thoughts on it, Squid?
This statement is amazing. The line about a bad initial multiplayer experience harming a game more so than holding the multiplayer is 100% accurate. I could not be happier to hear them say that. I do not want them to rush this. The multiplayer experience, we've said this before on previous episodes of the podcast, it
Yeah,
will make or break this game's ability to continue forward for several years.
yeah,
So, them waiting like this and making sure they've squashed as many bugs as they can and putting it out when it is in the best state it possibly can be, that is going to do wonders for this game because I cannot tell you how many ARPGs I have bought with my friends, and then we're like, why the hell doesn't the party system work?
Wilson.
I mean, I could go on and name a lot more, but you know, we've both been there. You know what I mean? Like it's just if the party system doesn't work at a basic level, you should not have multiplayer in your game. The fact that they already have the party system working and are still going to hold it to make sure everything runs as smooth as possible, just I'm so excited to hear that, even if it means I have to wait longer for multiplayer, because I would rather have a smooth gameplay experience.
Exactly. All right, so the next section is going to be learn more about multiplayer, Squid. Take it away for us, bud.
All right, so they're going to provide more insight on how the multiplayer is developing. They're going to do monthly multiplayer development updates. I'm very excited about this. We're getting our own separate multiplayer update section. There's also a new multiplayer FAQ. There's a link to that here in the forum post that we're reading off of right now that answers a lot of common questions. Um, they are very confident, excited, and busy as heck in their quest to bring multiplayer to the game because getting it right is more important than getting it now. The release date for multiplayer is still, it's ready when it's ready. But with the transparency that they're now going to be providing, when it's ready won't be a completely nebulous time frame, is their wording here. And I cannot agree with them more. Uh, it's ready when it's ready. That's it. That's
Yep.
when you guys drop it. I don't know if you click through the multiplayer FAQ. There's a lot of really good info in there, though.
I have not yet, but I will say this. The one thing that I do appreciate about them wanting to hold the multiplayer is if it's not ready, I hope that they do hold it longer. Like, I don't care if it doesn't come out at the end of the year. I'm still fine with playing the game by myself right now as it is.
Yeah,
Although it would be fun to be able to play with friends and play with other people and to be able to invite people that are uh stream viewers that are watching me on stream. They want to jump in and do a party game. That would be awesome to get to play with viewers, you know what I mean? But at the same token, I'm just like you on this. I'm all in for the it's ready when it's ready. Make sure it's perfect. We want to make sure that the game comes out perfectly. And so far, I'm loving every minute of Last Epoch that I have had so far. What are your thoughts so far?
man. Most of the time with an ARPG, I will hit that wall where I'm like, all right, this game's really fun, but like I need to play with the boys, you know. And I have not hit that with Last Epoch yet, and we're like approaching 300 hours at this point on Steam. So I've got almost 300 hours into the game, and I'm still just absolutely loving playing by myself. So like I can't imagine how good it's going to be with multiplayer. I still feel like there's a whole lot for me to do and learn, even with that many hours into the game. You
Yeah.
know, so it's the game's just it's in a really good spot right now for being an early access title, and this not just the multiplayer but other things mentioned here in this roadmap that we're about to get to have me really really hopeful for the future of the game.
I agree. And the next section, guys, we're going to talk about is performance and optimization. Improving the performance of our game client has been and will continue to be our top priorities as we approach 1.0. If you have played Last Epoch in the last year, you will have noticed significant improvements to the client side performance. Our recent efforts in this area have focused on optimizing lighting levels, tuning ability visual effects, pulling object instances. We have much more planned in the future, especially as we revisit some of our older content to bring it up to par. As we move towards our multiplayer release, the optimization work will grow to encompass server side performance to ensure everyone has the best online experience we can provide, and they have an average frame rate. For this, they use what is this? This is a Ryzen 56X, 32 gigabytes RAM, and it basically shows how over the patches how the performance has increased in certain areas. The worst area of all started off as the Southern Plateau. The Southern Plateau is now the best performing area. You're getting the most frames per second out of it right now with the optimization. They're getting close to about 73 frames per second on that, with everything else being just a little bit below, the worst being at about 57 frames per second, and that's going to be the Oltari Cliffs, which
Yeah,
actually now looking at the final dot for it, it's actually over 60 frames per second on here, along with it's 60 frames per second for everything. But I think their goal is they're going to try to get it up to the Southern Plateau level, with it being at least 70 to 75 frames per second for a graphics card like that.
absolutely. And I mean, so like I've said before in the past, I played the game like a year ago roughly, but I didn't play it for very long. And then when I came back to it, even the little bit that I played of it initially a year ago, like I could tell there was a very big jump in performance.
Yeah,
So I'm really glad to hear they're continuing to focus on that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think a lot of ARPGs skimp on stuff like this because they're too worried about like gameplay and loot drops and stuff like that, and they're not worried about like the actual like performance of their game. So like you'll get a lot of ARPGs that'll come out and have like bad screen tearing and really bad frame drops and stuff like that. And but they'll be full release games. These aren't early access titles. This
yeah.
is you paid $60 for this game and there's screen tearing in your cutscene, and you're like, "Ow, it's a cutscene! Like, how did you guys mess this up?"
Agree. The next section, Squid, take it away for us. Roadmap format update.
Yeah. So one of the major benefits of developing Last Epoch through the early access program is that they get to constantly receive feedback from players that love this genre the most. I agree with that. This results in a lot of great feedback, ideas, and much more time spent iterating during development, which is hard to account for up front, but well worth the time investment. Again, I agree. They also point out that this one makes a traditional roadmap quite challenging to adhere to and can leave people confused, disappointed, or even pleasantly surprised if a set of their basically development targets continually evolve. Um, and while pleasantly surprised sounds like a good thing, that's not the thing you want to evoke from a roadmap. So, in order to address these issues, they're going to be changing the forecast so that it's focused on what's coming next in more detail while leaving future content priority flexible, which they feel like is going to be a much more reflective of how fast-paced their development and design process works internally, which is going to allow them for better communication between us and them. Their communication is already pretty top tier, in my opinion, so the fact that it's only going to get better is just, that's insane to me, but I'm here for it. So the plan for upcoming features is largely the same, though some may evolve, be replaced, added, or come after 1.0 in some cases. Most features they want to implement before the 1.0 patch are not shown in this graphic. So we have a graphic here I'm going to go through for a second.
Before you do the graphic,
Sure.
all right. Remember we played that game. Five statements. One of these statements is true. 4 of them are
Yeah.
false. The
Yeah.
answer is in this. The answer is in that picture.
I'm not necessarily ecstatic about that, but we'll see how that implements. So coming in 0.8.3, so that would be the next big patch that we get coming up here pretty soon. We get chapter 9, so we're getting a new chapter added to the story. I'm excited for that. Chapter 9 is going to feature 20 plus new enemies, new bosses, and new zones. I'm hoping we get some of the zones that are like in the monolith that like we haven't seen in the story mode yet. I hope we get to see some of them realized and added to the story itself, because I'm very interested as to how they implement those. We also get Necromancer skill updates, new Sentinel skills, Void Knight specific skill updates. That has me excited. 25 plus new unique items.
Maybe we get our scroll staff.
Yes. We get Monolith of Fate improvements, and we get a new Primalist model. That is all coming in 0.8.3. They have said the new Sentinel model is coming. I saw the post on Reddit. They said it is coming. It's just not in this patch, but it is coming. Don't worry. They didn't forget about it. And then after 0.8.3, so this is stuff they just have planned for the future that they are working on, that they are telling us about. The Druid Transform rework, legendary items.
Yes.
Lost Memories.
Yes.
Eternity Cache.
Yes.
Reworked content, new areas, skills, animations. Performance improvements. We're out here.
Yes.
Chapters 10 through 12.
12. Yes.
Give me more story. Yes.
Yes.
The Rune Master, the Falconer, and some class called the Warlock. I don't
Hey, don't diss my Warlock.
Like I'm not gonna make one day one.
You already know I'm gonna be making a Warlock.
Multiplayer testing, always good.
Yes.
I'm gonna skip that one because I'm gonna come back to it because it's an answer to a question. Dungeons, I want to know what that is. I want to know what dungeons is.
Dungeons was the answer to the question.
Is it? I thought Bazaar was going to be the answer to the question.
No, it was Dungeons. Remember, Dungeons was the one that nobody picked. Everybody was like, I don't think there's going to be Dungeons in the game. And then all of a sudden, they just poo on all of us for not even thinking of Dungeons. They just say, yep, we're going to have Dungeons.
Given how the Bazaar sort of works, the gold trading thing also exists.
Yeah.
So we have item trading, the Bazaar, which we'll talk about the Bazaar in a second. We have a favor system incoming. I am intrigued by this because I feel like that's going to tie into the monolith because like you fight the various like Pantheon members in the monolith potentially.
I think the favor system is going to be having something to do with doing quests for different shopkeepers, either to lower their price of the items they sell and gain maybe like a faction reputation with them or something like that. Not quite sure, going out on a limb, but that's what I think it could possibly be with a favor system, or it might be close to the favor system with PoE, with being able to buy like stuff for like hideouts, things like that, to be able to upgrade your hideout, make your hideout look better. They didn't say they're going to have hideouts yet. They didn't say that, but
they have said. Yeah, so they said player housing is on the table, but it wouldn't be until after 1.0. So
yeah.
Then we have an in-game system, Gates of Memoriam, and then yet another in-game system, Epoch's Call. So we're getting multiple in-game systems.
My mind just got. I didn't read that earlier. Holy crap!
Multiple new in-game systems coming. I'm excited for that.
Maybe one of these is so you could level faster. with your alts.
I assume that dungeons will tie into that somehow potentially. I hope it does.
All I know is
So
I got to do the happy dance now. Got to do the
right.
happy dance over this.
So then after this roadmap image, they go on to say they'll be sharing more information and teasers on the upcoming patch through social media channels. So make sure to follow along. It has a list to all of their stuff, which I was not in the official Discord actually for some reason, so I've remedied
Hmm.
that. And again, they want to sincerely thank everybody for all the amazing opportunities that have been provided to the team and Judd himself. And they're working very hard to make Last Epoch a game that we will want to come back to for years to come. And to be fair, I think they're doing a fantastic job with that so far.
Hell yeah, they are, man. I'm pumped now. Like I didn't even see that part down at the bottom on that. And then you sit there and it said there's 2 new in-game systems. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't remember reading that
Yeah,
earlier. That's
two of
awesome.
them.
Two. Two times two equals 4. So that means 2 on one account, 2 on another account.
But yeah, so a lot of exciting stuff upcoming in the game, man. As far as point 8.3, I'm very excited for Void Knight skill updates. I love Void Knight, you know that.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that. I'm sure you're very excited for some Necromancer skill updates. So
Yes, I am. I'm excited for that, and I'm definitely excited for the Warlock whenever it comes out. Like,
oh
if
yes.
I'm working at work, if I've got a new job by then, because I'm looking for a job right now, like I told you earlier, if I got a new
Yeah.
job by then, hopefully by that time I can take time off from work and it'll be like, yo, there's a new patch drop, and I got to take a week off from work.
Look, I like look. This is gonna sound crazy to you guys, but like I need to take like a week off of work for this patch for this video game because I'm an
Hey,
adult. Damn it.
I used to do it in World of Warcraft. I used to
That's
take
fair.
I used to take like the day a new patch would drop, new content would come out. I would be like, "Yo, boss, I need to take my time off right now. I've got this leave accrued. I need to take a vacation for a week." They'd be like, "You just took a vacation 3 months ago," and I'd be like, "I know, but I still have this time on the books. I'm going to use it." And they'd be like,
Yeah.
"Okay, okay, it's not summertime. Why don't you wait until summer to take your vacation?" And then I'd have to go into detail. Well, there's a new patch that just dropped for World of Warcraft. In my guild, we're like a hardcore raiding guild. So we're trying to get some world first here. So I got to take the first week off because we're going to be doing progression for that first week every single night, probably even during the daytime too. So I've got to have this
Mhm.
time off.
Yeah, that was me with EverQuest back in the day. Just,
Oh,
well,
Evercrack?
yeah, well, luckily for me, I worked for a video game store, so it was like, hey, look, the new EverQuest expansion comes out. I'm buying it the day it comes out, and then I'm taking a week of vacation. I don't feel like I need to explain this to you. We work at a video game store, so the perks of being a manager or a member of management at least. So but yeah, no, it's like I said, a lot of exciting stuff coming up, man. And then like I said, there's the multiplayer progress update, which is specifically about multiplayer as well.
Yes.
Um, that has even more details about it and like how a lot of stuff's going to work, like your online inventory and things like that are also listed in there.
All right.
Um,
Let's get
so
into it
yeah,
then. You got it pulled
so
up?
let's yeah, I do.
All right, I'll go ahead and
So
let you start off. I've got it pulled up too. I'll take over at the current multiplayer progress for you.
sure. So multiplayer progress update for July. So this was obviously posted today. There was a link to it in the Road to 1.0 roadmap update. So it starts off with hello travelers and welcome to the first multiplayer monthly update. Um, very excited to say that we're now close to the point that we're going to be able to keep you all more in the loop with regards to multiplayer development. Where before they've often relied on informal conversations through in-game chat, forum comments, and Reddit replies. Now they're going to be able to produce regular updates. I will use. They're going to use these posts to keep up to date with not only the current status, but what's coming next, what risks they currently have. And the first post here will likely be longer than the following updates, as they're going to spend time providing a breakdown of what Judd spoke about in the Road to 1.0 post. So let's get to it.
All right. So, current multiplayer progress playing online. You can log in via allocated servers for your play session and have a continuous online experience all day without interruption. The user account system we've had since the early days was built to eventually support our party system and has been powering our in game chat for some time. Our QA team is playing Last Epoch multiplayer every single day together. Oh, God.
Jeez. Oh my God. We're so close. We're so close. I can feel it. All
All right.
right.
Next part is gonna be gameplay, Squid. Let's hear what you got to say on that.
So they've put up a lot of upfront effort into building tools that have enabled them to convert current campaign, in-game, and quest into being multiplayer friendly. Happy to say they're making very quick progress here, and we'll get to see most of the game represented right away in the first multiplayer test. Oh yes.
Nice.
Uh, Spells are going to work online and fully server authoritative. They have baseline desync composition in place. That has me very excited because, well, desync is an issue in multiplayer games. It's going to happen. The fact that they
Mhm.
already have their compensation system in place and that it works well um, is very exciting. Since it's going to make the important, basically your moment to moment gameplay is going to feel responsive. That's basically what it means. Like if somebody desyncs from the game, it's not gonna feel like somebody desyncs from your game. It's going to continue going. You won't have a lot of stuttering and stuff like that. They say there's a lot of tune in the system, and it will continue to receive updates and improvements.
Nice. That is awesome. Next section is online inventory. Your inventory works online and saves to your online character, with stashes being a separate global inventory as you'd expect. Loot drops are already instanced. You can store items in your stash and use them across online characters. Items are granting you their stats. For the most part, gold drops, and you store it in a server authoritative manner. So basically, what that line is saying there is that there's going to be no ninja looting in this game.
Basically, all your
Yep.
loot is instanced. So, like, if you guys ever played Diablo 3's multiplayer, loot works the same way in that. Everybody's loot drops are independent. You cannot have your loot stolen from you by some jerk.
Yeah, exactly. Or kill a boss and expect to get your item, and then some other guy that's not even the right class for it snatches it from you and runs off with it and is like, I'm
Bro,
going straight to the bazaar to sell this.
oh my God. Actual nightmare. So our next section is server authority. So all of the features you would expect to be stored and saved online now do so. These are features such as character saves, stashes, quest stuff like that. Your party's data is all controlled by the server, which means that characters are protected from manipulation, but they are accessible anywhere you can log in on a playable copy of Last Epoch. And this security paves the way for them to create competitive content like cycles, races, leaderboards, all that stuff we know and love. Both player abilities and monster abilities are all fully communicate through the server. Player positions are mostly authoritative, with the rest in progress. So basically, what they mean by this is that everything is stored on the server side, meaning you cannot alter thing like you can't go alter INI files and change stuff and have them pop up in a multiplayer game. So
Nice.
you don't have people running through doing crazy stuff, one-shotting bosses, so you can't learn mechanics and stuff like that, and all sorts of other things that people will do in games.
All right. So, what are some of the major works in progress for multiplayer? Well, with playing online, they state that they need to solidify a strong queue system for login on a wider release. They're optimizing their server size to reduce as much overhead as possible. They're working to ensure a stable experience receiving servers on a scale at scale. They need to continue to test their matchmaker. That is the tool that gives you a session when you're playing Last Epoch online. Their party system will need updates as we proceed through data or through beta, ensuring we have good tools in place to monitor and track any problems so we can respond as quickly as we have during single player releases. This one is quite tricky, they say, but it's very important to us. These features, on top of server authority, are the most challenging features to prepare. So, That is basically the way I'm going to interpret this is that they want to make sure that one, whenever you go to log in, your server is not going to be overcrowded. So you're not going to be like playing on East Coast for like PoE style, where it takes you, an hour to log in at the beginning of a patch. Maybe they're going to have more servers than that in the United States. Like maybe they're going to have anywhere between like 20 servers, maybe. I would say it'd probably have to be a lot larger. Well, no, 20 servers is a bit much. Probably be a little bit more than that. I could probably see them doing like maybe a southern server, like in the southern part of the United States, one up in the north, then maybe one up in the northern middle, one down in the southern middle, one up in the northern west part, and one in the southern west part, just to make it to where players have more options to be able to log into a server to get more accessibility. That's what I think they're trying to say here, or maybe that they're hinting at is what they're going to have.
Yeah, I can see that. So our next section is gameplay. So using the tools to finish preparing chapters, monsters, and in-game to work in a multiplayer format. They feel super confident with this process. They need to continue to tune a few ability types in multiplayer, such as movement abilities and enchantment abilities, and how they feel online. The same goes for monster abilities. Bosses take more work than your average monster because, bosses have like AoE targeting abilities and stuff, and that's going to change in multiplayer. So you got to work on stuff like that. Understandable. Skill trees need numerous polish passes to make sure all the particularly interesting nodes work as intended. The skill trees are quite a bit of content. I agree, because if you select even one node differently, it changes how a skill works sometimes completely.
Mm-hmm.
And then a need for server authoritative quest states initially slowed down our progress when adding content, as they needed a way to change the state of the zones you were in while you were in a party. This is now all functional. There's a lot of polished work to be done here. We're working on being able to waypoint to locations so it's easier to play asynchronously. So if you guys played Diablo 3's multiplayer and have ever done bounties, you know the quickest way to do that is have all of you teleport to a different bounty and do it.
Yep.
And that's what they mean when they say waypoint to location so you can play asynchronously, is basically you and your party members not in the same zone, but the game is still updating like you have completed the stuff that they have completed.
That is awesome. The next section is going to be items. While many unique items work, others have custom properties that will have to be implemented and tested. Some of our tooling works for this, but a breadth of it will be custom work until we catch up to all the items. Idle stats are similarly not fully implemented, but your idle slots unlock during the campaign, and idols themselves are droppable. Crafting has a lot of its code already, and we need to ensure crafting logic is server authoritative and it will be usable. There is no trading at the moment. We have the code behind our item system to do this. We just need some additional work to make this happen. That is awesome. They're not too far away from being able to do trade for us. That's great. That is great. And all the other
Absolutely.
stuff with the items being set up correctly, that's going to be amazing to be able to take and um, go to search for an item, hopefully in the bazaar, and be able to find the exact item you want with a search icon for it, and it be able to pull up exactly the same idols for you. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot that goes into coding behind that to be able to pull items up, because I remember in Diablo 2, each item had its own specific item code to it. So if there was
Yep.
two items with the same item code, eventually whenever the server did an update, if it found two items that had the same item code on it, it would delete both of those items off the server completely. So
We don't want that to happen. So next up is server authority. So making sure the player's position is fully authoritative. Right now it is partially so, but we need to ensure they have the correct logic in place for rollback. They need to keep pushing hard on testing the ability to exploit or have saving loading errors with your character's data so that we don't see those types of issues, like a disappearing stash or like an item you pick up that doesn't save to your character and things like that. Keep tuning the desync compensation system so the game feels as good as possible, even at a high ping. Right now, you can get up to 200 ping before having a questionable experience. I don't know if you've ever played a game on 200 ping. The fact that they can be that high and that's when the questioning starts is pretty impressive, because if I hit about 120 in a game, I'm like, what the hell is happening to me? So it being to go up to 200 before something questionable happens is very impressive for this early in the testing.
Hell yeah.
Uh, they're also finishing up their position authority system, but it's not going to be one of this month's goals. On the whole, they said this is some of the most complicated and long-term work. Scaling these services and keeping them secure with minimum chance for error is critical before moving into a wider multiplayer release.
That is awesome. So, the next section, what are our goals for July? Ensuring our content is up to reach end of time. Oh, ensuring our content is up to reach end of time, is polished and easy to play. A major system we are to begin on is waypointing, so players can play asynchronous. Oh God, I can't say that word. Asynchronously, more easily. Debugging our party system to ensure play as smooth as possible. The last 20% is the trickiest. They're planning for earlier access to one of our in-game systems in order to extend multiplayer play to make it viable for wider testing. Collecting data, we do not we do we need to not only be able to monitor and track player activity to help inform good decisions, we need to be able to monitor all our front end and back end systems if we want to provide you a high quality experience like other online ARPGs. Optimizing our server size in order to save costs, and this comes in two major forms: server optimization and netcode optimization. We are profiling our server to reduce its size online in order to allow us to put more servers on a single machine. Oh, wow.
Hey,
We are optimizing our netcode to significantly reduce the size of the data we need to send between the server and clients. Hell yes. As well
excellent.
as optimize our gameplay code to reduce the amount of computations we send to the server in the first place. Oh my gosh. Why are these? Oh, this right here, hearing this, I'm like, why doesn't Path of Exile do this? Like, I really want to just go up to Chris Wilson and just choke him right now because these guys are doing everything right. And it just, after playing PoE for so long, I looked at my hours today, Squid, and this really upsets me. I have 21,000 hours in Path of Exile. 21,000 hours. That's
21,000.
yeah, 21,000. That's over like a 9 year period. Okay.
A mess.
Yeah. So, and now the next thing they're talking about is getting our potions and idol systems working more fully so you can fully flesh out your character and survive. Scaling up to approach the ability to test more widely. On the whole, we have a vision for a format of Last Epoch multiplayer that we can release to a wider testing before we're done adding all the campaign and in game content. Many of the goals above will bring us there, and some of them will be ongoing for more than this month. The closer some of these features get, the easier it will become for me to give you a harder date on when we will start opening up for some opt in testing. Nice. In our next update, I will provide a status update on everything I've mentioned above, as well as add new features we are working towards. I will also answer questions as I can in replies below. Thank you for taking the time to check out this update out. And here's a multiplayer gameplay video to tide you over until next month. Please note you will find sounds to be a little off in this video, and they posted a video down below. And that
I did
is
watch the video.
yeah, it looked good seeing the multiplayer like that. It didn't look like anybody lagged or anything either.
About to say it looked very smooth. It was a full 4-person party. Everything looked smooth in it from what I saw.
Yeah, it looked great, man. It was awesome to get to watch that.
Absolutely. But yeah, a lot of good stuff coming here pretty soon. They said there's opt-in multiplayer testing. I will be attempting to opt in if at all possible if it gets put forward to people like us,
That would be
because I
great.
definitely want to see how it works. Um, I like that they're doing a lot of stuff like server side, because that puts less stress on our machines as we run the game as well. And then with them try to improve their net code, that's going to be fantastic. Because if they can optimize their stuff to where they don't need to send as many packets back and forth between our machines and their servers and such to make the gameplay smooth, it's going to go great for everybody involved. Um, I play a lot of fighting games in addition to ARPGs, and fighting games have really terrible net code historically, and it's not really gotten that much better. Some games are a little bit better than others, but it's amazing to me that these are like AAA studios and their online's basically unplayable sometimes.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to everything that's getting ready to come out. I'm especially looking forward to the Warlock, and you know that. I've been
Oh,
craving
it's
to get my hands on the Warlock and play that. So that's something I'm looking forward to in this. The multiplayer, I really hope that it comes out perfectly whenever it does. I know there's going to be a few bugs here and there, and I think with the community that Last Epoch has behind it, I think all of us will pitch in if we find a bug. Go to the forums, post about the bug, and let every one of the developers know, hey, I found this bug with your game, and then they can get on it and patch it quick as possible and fix it, so that hopefully somebody that's behind us experienced players to play this game that get up there fast enough to find them, hopefully they can patch it out before a newer player finds it and then goes, hey, what the hell is wrong with this? I can't do this or I can't do that in it. You know what I mean?
I can't tell you how many times I've looked into something that weird that happened to me in like another ARPG, and then like I look it up and it's like there's a forum post from like 3 years ago. It's like, yeah, this thing happens, and I'm like, it's been 3 years. How did no one fix this? Hold on, like you know, like what do you mean? It's wild to me that people could be like that, but um, scrolling through the multiplayer FAQ. So this is something we've talked about in the past. Um, there's a question on will there be incentives to party with other players? And their response here is pretty much what you and I have been lockstep with each other about. Is they say that we want the decision of playing with others to depend on whether you like spending time adventuring with other players and try to steer away from it being a much more efficient way to beat content or get loot. Besides having an organized or synergistic team that can defeat enemies faster than a solo player, we are not planning to incentivize parties with additional rewards. I personally love this because I don't want it to feel like, oh, if you're not playing multiplayer, you're not playing optimally.
Exactly. It's the same thing with PoE. At the beginning of a league, you usually play in group setting at the start of the league for like the first 2 weeks just to crush the content, get as much loot as possible, and then buy the items that you need to make your build super, super good. And playing in group play in PoE rewards you a lot heavier than any other game that I've ever played for any RPG playing in groups. Usually, playing in group, the downside to it is, in the past with a lot of ARPGs, is you don't get your own loot. Loot's shared whenever you play in a group play, so somebody could always ninja loot something. Whereas with this system, they've got the best of what Diablo 3 had to offer with the group play in it that they're already implementing, with you getting your own loot, you being able to pick up the items that you want, and if you see an item for another player in your group and it drops for you, you can pick that up and trade that to that player. That's another great thing too. But the thing I'm looking forward to the most out of everything they said, going back to the Warlock, is I'm hoping that the Warlock has the ability to use Infernal Shade as a damn DPS skill, because I've been trying to make Infernal Shade work and it does not work as anything other than buffing minions and making your minions like super speed, cracked out, running across the screen at like 1,000 miles per hour. That is the only thing that I've been able to figure out with it that makes it really a viable skill for the time being. Anytime I've tried it as a damage skill, it has not worked for me yet. I do have another build that I'm going to be working on this week. I'm going to be trying out a Necromancer bleed build with Infernal Shade. So I'm going to see if I
Okay.
can get that to work with Infernal Shade. What are you going to be working on this week, Squid?
So tomorrow I'm actually streaming tomorrow. I didn't stream today. I had to handle stuff around the house that I've been slacking on. I'm actually not streaming Last Epoch tomorrow. I'm streaming another ARPG, but Thursday I'm gonna be streaming some Last Epoch, and I've pretty much just been focusing on trying to get into empowereds with my like characters that already exist that are softcore, just so I can like up their loot and stuff, so I can start pushing like higher in arena than like around 100, because right now it's like it's gear cap for me. I know it is because like I don't have any good exalts or anything like that. Pushing into empowers is like my next step for leveling those characters up to like the next part of progression. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's on tap for me right now. Taking a break from hardcore for this week. We're probably back to hardcore next week. I don't know if I'm gonna continue the neck or if I'm gonna make something else yet. I haven't really decided what I'm gonna do in regards to that.
Yeah, hearing that necros, it makes me a little bit hungry. And speaking about hungry guys, Squid here is a Built Bar brand ambassador. Do you still have those bars that, or are those bars gone now? I know you had some that were limited time.
Those limited time bars are gone. Those are the grasshopper ones. Right
Damn.
now, the current limited time flavor is lemon almond cheesecake.
Ooh.
Yeah. I like cheesecake. I like lemon. I'm not big on almonds, but
But it's
you
got
know,
cheesecake.
but it's got cheesecake
It's
and
got
lemons.
cheesecake.
I love lemon flavored things. I'm really big on that stuff. So I'm probably going to check those out. I did not get a grasshopper box. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get one of those. And I'm also getting low on bars now too. But yeah, I am a brand ambassador for Built Bar. They are fantastic protein bars. They're high fiber, high protein, but they're actually like low in carbs. Despite all this, they're also low in sugars. They come in a wide variety of flavors. There's always some sort of limited flavor, like I was just telling you, lemon, cheesecake, almond, or whatever. There's also the evergreen flavors, is what I call them, which is like your mint brownie, your double chocolate, and your salted caramel. And there are like two or three other flavors that are just always in the store at all times. If you use code SQUID at checkout at builtbar.com, you will save 10% off of your order. If you're not interested in the protein bar idea, they do offer a drink mix called Built Boost. It's very delicious. I drink probably one every other day or so. Like if I need to work out or something, I'll drink one. It's kind of like a pre-workout, give myself a little shot of energy before I get in there. Those come in a wide variety of flavors as well. Most of them are fruit related. You have like your tropical blast, your orange fusion and stuff like that. Again, code SQUID at checkout saves you 10% on those as well. They come in like little pouches, just one pouch. You add it to about 16 ounces of water. You're good to go. But yeah, that's what's going on with Built Bar right now. Like I said, the current special flavor is lemon almond cheesecake. So if that sounds interesting to you, go to builtbar.com and check them out.
Awesome. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight on last week of Epoch. We want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Also, shout out to Lone Star for helping out with another donation to the Wounded Warrior Project during the stream. Didn't get to say anything during it because the sound alert went off, but thank you very much, Lone Star. That's more money for Wounded Warrior Project. And also, thank you again to everybody that tuned into the charity stream that I ran last weekend. Really appreciate everybody coming by, giving the support as well on that. And a reminder as well, next month it will be Help for Heroes that I am going to be doing a charity stream for. I believe I have that set for the 17th. I have to double check what I put out, make sure that I adhere to the date that I said so people show up. But yeah, the charity goal for next month, it's going to be a reasonable goal. I set a very high goal for this month for Wounded Warrior Project. Next month, it's going to be $200 for Help for Heroes. Hopefully, we can crush that goal, maybe even double it. Like to see everybody come out and support the stream during that day. That's the whole main reason why I got into streaming was for doing charity work. Don't care about being famous. Don't care about the money. I'm in it to help other people out. Squid, on the other hand, here does streaming just for fun. And I don't
It's
think
true.
you've done any charity work yet. Do you ever plan on doing any charity work with
I
streaming?
do. I do have some. I
Okay,
do have some charity plans in the works. I just gotta wait till I can hear back from a couple of companies, couple of foundations, not companies. A
awesome.
couple of foundations that I'm looking to work with that are things that mean a lot to me as far as like things that I like to advocate for as far as helping people and stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to get into that here pretty soon. Hopefully next month we'll be able to do a charity stream as well, and we'll see how that goes.
Well, whenever you're getting ready to do the charity stream, we're going to be able to get to tell everybody here first. That'll be exclusive content right here first on last week at Epoch to let everybody know when you've got that plan and everything. But from myself and
Absolutely.
Squid, I'd like to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Idiot Slayer, thank you for the bits. That's going to Wounded Warriors as well. Appreciate that. You guys all have a great night. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Y'all be good.